these earrings remind me of a pyramid, so I thought it would be nice to wear them in an Egyptian themed video. Yeah, just wanted to share that. Hello friends, and welcome to another video. Today I have the September Once Upon a Book Club box for you. I've read the book, opened the gifts, put everything back so I can give you guys the same experience. And let me tell you, this was a good box. I really liked the book. There were some great themes that are close to my heart. I'll explain that later on in this video. And also the gifts were really good, and I'm a sucker for ancient Egypt, so this was a perfect box because that was the theme, ancient Egypt, Egyptology. I just really enjoyed it and I can't wait to share it with you guys. And if you like these kind of videos, then don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you never miss another video of me again. Let's get unboxing. There's some construction going on in my apartment. Oh, there it is. So there could be a little bit of noise in the background. This is a lot. I'm not going to film during this, but I just want to give you guys an idea of what I'm dealing with. Here it is, the beautiful box from Once Upon a Book Club, and this is the adult version. They also have a young adult version and a classic box. When you open the box, this is what you see, and the book of this box is The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult. Everything changes in a single moment for Dawn Adelstein. She's on a plane when the flight attendant makes an announcement. Prepare for a crash landing. She braces herself as thoughts flash through her mind. The shocking thing is, the thoughts are not of her husband, but of a man she last saw 15 years ago. Wyatt Armstrong. Dawn miraculously survives the crash, but so do all the doubts that have suddenly been raised. She has led a good life. Back in Boston, there is her husband Brian, their beloved daughter, and her work as a death doula, in which she helps ease the transition between life and death for her clients. But somewhere in Egypt is Wyatt Armstrong, who works as an archaeologist unearthing ancient burial sites, a career that Dawn once studied for but was forced to abandon when life suddenly intervened. After the crash landing, the airline ensures that the survivors are seen by a doctor, then offers transportation to wherever they want to go. The obvious destination is to fly home, but she could take another path. Return to the archaeological sites she left years before, reconnect with Wyatt and their unresolved history, and maybe even complete her research on the Book of Two Ways, the first known map of the afterlife. As the story unfolds, Dawn's two possible futures unspool side by side, as do the secrets and doubts long buried with them. Dawn must confront the questions she's never truly asked. What does a life well lived look like? When we leave this earth, what do we leave behind? Do we make choices, or do our choices make us? And who would you be if you hadn't turned out to be the person you are right now? I've never read anything by this author, but I can tell you guys it's an intense experience, and I've heard that her other books are this way as well. She does her research, she picks a topic, and then she dives really deep into that theme and that topic, and then creates a fictional story around it. And I don't think that's for everyone, so you're either gonna like this book a lot or you're not gonna like it at all. So in ancient Egypt, The Book of Two Ways was an actual book, a guide to death. But it has a double meaning because there are literally two ways our main character can go. Her current life or the life she missed out on. The first 50 pages or so felt like a lecture about ancient Egypt, and I loved it because I wanted to be an Egyptologist growing up. I am like such a fan of ancient Egypt. I've been to Egypt twice. We had a tour guide, we had a cruise on the Nile. It was amazing, and it was so amazing that I went a second time 10 years later because I went there as a kid and then I wanted to revisit as a grown-up. It's such an amazing culture and it's so interesting, and these people were so smart. Not to forget about the fact that women were equal to men in ancient Egypt. If I can find them, I will insert some pictures of me and my boyfriend in Egypt because we had a wonderful time and we saw such amazing monuments. The most memorable place that we visited was Abu Simbel, and that's a temple for Ramses II and his wife. It is just such a beautiful place to visit. It was scorching hot that day, but it's a wonderful place to see with all the hieroglyphs. Amazing. So you can tell I'm really enthusiastic about ancient Egypt, and that's why I absolutely adored this book because this author put a lot of research into that. She apparently has a son that studied Egyptology at Yale, and she also called in the help of a lot of experts in Egyptology. She even went to Egypt, I believe. So there are two timelines in this book. We have the present and the past. So in the past, Dawn is an archaeology student who specializes in Egyptology. In Egypt, she does her internship, and there she meets Wyatt, another student. They have this thing going on, and then suddenly she has to go back to Boston, and she never sees Wyatt again. And then there's the present, where Dawn lives in Boston with her daughter Merritt and her husband Brian, who is a scientist specialized in quantum mechanics. And these two timelines eventually meet up with each other, and Dawn finds one way in the book of two ways. Next to the two timelines, we also have two locations: Egypt, that represents land, and Boston, that represents water. In the present, Dawn doesn't do anything with archaeology, although that is her passion. She has become an end-of-life doula. It's kind of this nurse that guides you to death. It's such a wonderful concept. They stay with you, they fulfill your requests that you have, they stay with the ones that are left behind, and they try to make you feel okay with dying and accepting it, because it is inevitable. And that's a big theme in this book. I have to admit to you guys, I'm scared of death, or at least I used to be very scared of death. Now I'm just a little bit scared, but it was so refreshing and confronting and wonderful at the same time to read about it so much. There's even a death meditation in the book. I really got scared. I felt panic while reading that. Even thinking about it just makes me feel a little bit sad, but it was such a wonderful thing to read about, because it is something we can't do anything about. We just have to accept it. We're all gonna die. This is gonna be such a sad video, and even though I'm one of those people that is kind of scared of dying, I actually found comfort in reading about it, and that was something I didn't expect. Let me just give you guys a glimpse of the death meditation. Imagine your organs are shutting down now. You have no more desire to eat or to drink. Next is your central nervous system. You lose your connection to your limbs. Your eyes may roll in your head. You may not be able to keep them open. Finally, your respiratory system will slow down. Breath won't come easily or naturally. Your breathing is getting shallower. Your energy is draining. Your body temperature drops. You can't feel the floor beneath you because you are weightless. You are aware now that you are dying, but that is the only consciousness you have left. So if you are not up for that confrontation, then you should definitely not read this book, because death is a big theme. What I also really liked, and I didn't expect that, because I'm also dealing with a relative that has stage 4 cancer. Some of you may know that this is my brother, who is very dear to me. We are very close, and Dawn is guiding someone to death that has stage 4 cancer. So that was really scary to read about, but also really comforting. And there's even a list with things you shouldn't do when someone is dying. And I actually do some of those things, so that made me laugh and think of my brother. Like, don't overact your happiness, or don't think you have to discuss the illness. And another part is, don't forget, no one knows what to say to someone who's dying. Everyone is afraid of saying the wrong thing. It's more important to be there than to be right. Of course, there are also a lot of wonderful romantic moments in this book and funny moments. I especially like the character of Brian. Brian is just a really pragmatic guy. He's a stereotype scientist who is a little bit autistic, and he absolutely adores Dawn and tries to do anything in his power to make her happy, even though he's not quite capable of that. So he believes in parallel universes, and that's something he points out when a choice is made, that a version of you in another universe has made a different choice, and that brings him to concepts like quantum suicide, which is a really interesting concept, and of course the example of Schrodinger's cat. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's really fascinating and kind of hard to grasp, but it's a very interesting topic, and I love reading more about that. My favorite quote from the book of Two Ways: talking about sex doesn't make you pregnant, and talking about death isn't going to kill you. As I said in the beginning, you're either gonna like this book or dislike it, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, it's an intense writing style. There's a lot of information, but there's also a great set of characters. There's a great storyline. I laughed, I cried. It's about confronting your fears. It's just, yeah, I loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. And it's about ancient Egypt. I mean, That's so exciting to me. The first post-it can be found on page 41. This is a part where Dawn, our main character, and Wyatt are looking at hieroglyphs and coffin texts. I tweaked the little hand mirror so that a beam of light struck Wyatt directly in his eye. He winced, holding up his palm to block it. "Hey Wyatt," I said sweetly, "you planning on working today?" He stood, wiping the dust off his hands. "Lesson time is over, my friend," he said to Mustafa. "I've got to earn my keep." He scuffed at the picture he'd drawn with one boot and then walked underneath the ladder I was perched on. "I can't believe you did that," I said. "Taught Mustafa a hieroglyph?" he said innocently. "No, you just walked under the ladder." "Let me guess, another superstition from your Irish mother." He rummaged for a Sharpie in his own bag. "What should I do to keep the whole tomb from falling down around me then?" The first gift comes in this cute box with hieroglyphs on there. And when you open it up, it has all these sparkly stones on front, and the color actually reminds me of the book cover. And when you open it up, it has two little mirrors. If you already have a pocket mirror, then this is probably not the best gift, but I actually don't have one, so I'm really happy with this. And I like sparkles, so this gift proves to me that Once Upon a Book Club box is targeting females because most of their products are really feminine. So if you're a guy that isn't into feminine products, keep that in mind. The next post-it can be found on page 146, and in this part we follow Dawn, who is meeting up with Win and is explaining things about ancient Egypt. And she has a painting for Win, which is a reproduction of something that was found in ancient Egypt. This scene is spell 125, and it's really famous, I tell Win. It's where Ani's heart is being weighed. In the image, the deceased is being led into the Hall of Two Truths, to have his heart balanced on a set of scales against the feather of Ma'at, truth. This scene, Judgment Day really, was the one spell that was never found in the Book of Two Ways. There were definitely snippets of Middle Kingdom coffin text that evolved into the New Kingdom's weighing of the heart, but I hadn't stayed in the field long enough to find that connective tissue. "Why is he green?" Wayne asked, tapping on Osiris's white crown. He has a whole mythological history of regenerating after his death. It's a long story. His green skin represents fertility and rebirth. He's got a divine beard, see that curve at the bottom? And he's mummiform. The lady behind him is Isis. You can tell by the throne on her head. She is Osiris's wife, and she resurrected him after he died and protected his heir, Horus. She also helps the dead make that transition. And the corresponding gift, you guys are not ready for this, is in this box. I mean, just the box by itself is gorgeous. And inside is the painting. I mean, look at that. This is the scene that was just described in the book, and it is indeed the weighing of the heart. So when you go to the afterlife, I think it's a wonderful print, and they even framed it for us. When I went to Egypt, we also went to a papyrus store where they did these kind of prints on real papyrus, and we bought a small one. Let me just show you guys. And what's so special about this print is that it comes from Egypt, obviously, but also it has our names in hieroglyphs. How cool is that? Now onto the final gift, because there were a total of 3 gifts in the September box. This part is about Dawn, who is in the present in Egypt, and she kind of got rejected. There's such a beautiful simplicity in believing that by speaking a wish, you can make it happen. "Dawn," I whisper. "Wyatt." But this isn't ancient Egypt, and I am alone and drunk. I pad down the hall, holding my breath at the silence. The last thing I want is to hear them together. I let myself into my bedroom and sit down on the bed and see it. A limestone flake on my pillow, with a hieroglyphic message scrawled in Sharpie. Nehet Jet. Forever and ever. Ooh, we match. Kind of. Well, this is the final gift. It comes in this very velvety, soft pouch, which I'm definitely gonna hold on to. And when you open this, I have to be a little bit careful here because it is not only a beautiful pillowcase, but inside is the limestone with the hieroglyphics on there that say forever and ever. That is so romantic. And this lovely pillowcase, which is 18 by 18 inch. It has this beautiful sand color, and it just really reminds me of Egypt. I think mainly because of these little balls on the side. But yeah, definitely a pillowcase that I'm gonna use. And of course, the card with a quote from the book. There's really no such thing as a right or wrong choice. We don't make decisions, our decisions make us. And on the back of this card is a letter from the author. I will give you guys a close-up. Just pause the screen if you want to read it. Those are all the gifts in the box, and that means that we are left with the leaflet, also known as the book club kit. There's a note from Jodi Picoult with some really cool photographs from her time in Egypt, discussion questions, read-along dates, and even a recipe. Hasip's Egyptian omelets. This looks really nice. I might try to make this. And that was everything in the box. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you think of the book? What did you think of the items? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and let's stay in touch.